If you've just found your way here, you can take a moment to settle in. This is a sleep story, not one you need to follow closely or understand. It's designed to meet you where you are, using gentle imagery and metaphor to help your mind soften and your body rest. If it feels right, you can simply listen and let sleep come in its own time. Throughout history, stories have helped people move through uncertainty, change, and becoming. Not by giving answers, but by reminding us who we are when we're inside the journey. This story is designed to gently guide your mind into that space where meaning forms naturally and your inner wisdom recognizes itself. You don't need to follow the story perfectly. Just let it carry you and allow sleep to do the rest. The night has a way of changing everything. Not by forcing anything to happen, but by softening the edges of the world until only what's true remains. Now imagine yourself taking a walk along a path through a forest. The air is cool, clean in a way that feels almost sacred, like the forest has been bathed in quiet. Above you, the moon hangs wide and steady, casting silver light through the branches in scattered pools along the path. You don't remember exactly when you arrived here, only that you are here now, and you've been walking for a while. Not rushing, not running, not trying to outrun anything, just moving. There's a kind of tiredness in your body that isn't despair. It's not the tiredness of giving up. It's the tiredness of someone who has kept going through long seasons, through complicated choices, through moments that asked more of you than you expected. And still, you are here. Each step lands softly on the earth, and the ground receives you without question. beneath the hush of light, you can hear small things. The distant call of an owl, the whisper of leaves turning in the breeze, the faint crackle of something moving through underbrush far away. Nothing threatening, nothing urgent, just life continuing on. You inhale and your breath fills your ribs, then empties again. In and out. And it occurs to you that this too is part of the journey. Not the dramatic parts, not the moments you'd tell someone to prove you were strong. But the quiet moments, the ones where you're simply here and you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. The path curves gently ahead. A soft ribbon through tall trees. Sometimes the moonlight fades behind dark clouds, and the forest becomes darker. Not frightening, just less defined. When that happens, your steps slow naturally. You don't strain your eyes to force clarity. You let your body adjust. You listen. And after a moment, the clouds pass. The moon returns. And the path appears again. Not because you tried harder. Not because you solved anything. It appears because it was always there. You keep walking. There's something you've been carrying. Not a physical pack, though sometimes it feels like one. It's more like a weight, a responsibility, a sense that you've had to hold everything together. Maybe you've been the one who figures it out, the one who stays brave, the one who keeps showing up, even when you're not sure how. And maybe there's a part of you that's quietly wondered, when does it get to be easier? Not easy like nothing ever happens, but easy like you don't have to grip so tightly. Easy like you're allowed to be guided. The thought comes and goes like mist. You don't chase it. You let it drift, because you are learning something about the forest. It responds best when you soften. The trees feel tall and ancient around you. Their trunks dark and solid. Their branches weaving together overhead. Like the roof of a quiet cathedral. You brush your fingertips along a rough patch of bark as you pass, and there's a strange comfort in the texture. The simple proof of something real. Your mind begins to slow, not because you're making it slow, but because there's nothing here that demands it stay fast. You walk and walk, and then eventually you notice the path changing. Not suddenly, not dramatically, just subtly. The air feels slightly cooler. The scent of pine grows stronger. The forest grows more still, as if you're approaching a place that holds a different kind of quiet. Ahead you see it, a clearing. A gentle widening in the trees, where the moonlight falls more fully, spilling across mossy ground like liquid silver. At the edge of the clearing, the path divides, not into two sharp directions, but into two possibilities. One way curves left, disappearing behind a stand of fir trees. The other drifts right toward a place where you hear the faintest sound of water. You stop without thinking. Your body knows to pause here. This feels like a threshold, not the kind that demands a decision immediately, but the kind that asks you to become present. You stand in the clearing, and the night seems to breathe around you. For a moment, you feel the familiar reflex, the urge to pick the right way, the urge to figure it out, to not waste time. But something deeper in you, something wiser, quieter, doesn't move. It simply listens. So you do something unexpected. You rest. Right there in the moonlit clearing, you lower yourself slowly to the ground. The moss is cool and springy beneath you, like the earth has been waiting to hold you. You let your shoulders drop. Let your hands relax. Let the muscles in your face soften. And as you sit there, you realize no one is grading you. No one is judging you. The forest isn't watching you to see if you do it perfectly. The path isn't going to disappear because you needed a moment. In fact, as you allow yourself to pause, the clearing seems to grow more gentle. The air becomes sweeter. The silence becomes kinder. You feel faintly as though something is near, not looming, not invading, just present, like a quiet companion at the edge of your awareness. You don't turn your head quickly. You don't jolt awake inside yourself. You simply shift your attention softly and notice. At the far side of the clearing, half in shadow, stands a figure. Not a stranger exactly. Not someone you need to fear. They are wrapped in a cloak, the color of night. And though you can't see their face clearly, you feel a familiar steadiness radiating from them. They do not approach you with urgency. They do not demand anything. They simply stand there as if they have been waiting, not for you to arrive, but for you to stop pushing. A voice comes, gentle as the wind through the leaves. You don't have to force the next step, it says. The words land inside you like warmth. You swallow slowly. Something in your chest loosens. A knot you didn't even realize you were holding. I don't know which way to go, you admit. And even saying it feels like relief. The figure tilts their head slightly. Of course you don't, they say, as if that is not a failure, but a sacred and normal part of being human. Then the voice adds, the path isn't asking you to know everything. It's asking you to be here. You feel your breath deepen, in and out. The figure steps closer, but only a little, stopping at a respectful distance. And you The voice continues. Have been here all along. You look down at your hands, resting in your lap. You think of all the times you believed you were behind, lost, too late, not doing enough. And then you look up again, and in the moonlight, you notice something you didn't see before. The path. It's still there. Both directions, left and right, exist without pressure. And something else is happening. The ground beneath your feet, beneath the moss and earth, seems to pulse with the faintest glow. Not bright, not dramatic, just a subtle illumination, like the forest is responding quietly to your presence. The figure speaks again, softer now. You are the one the path responds to, they say. Not your effort, not your fear, not your urgency. A silence follows, not empty, full, and you can feel a truth forming in you, not as an identity, but as a knowing. Maybe the journey isn't something you have to muscle your way through. Maybe it isn't a test you have to pass. Maybe it's a relationship between you and your own life, between you and the quiet intelligence inside you. The figure raises one hand, and you notice something in their palm. A small object catching the moonlight. A stone, smooth and dark, with a pale line running through it, like a tiny river of quartz. They toss it gently, and it lands beside you in the moss without sound. A reminder, the voice says, for when you forget. You pick it up. It's cool in your hand, solid, real. You can feel its weight, simple and grounding. And in that moment, something shifts again. Not like fireworks, not like a sudden transformation, more like you return to yourself. As if you have been walking with part of you slightly ahead, and now you have caught up. The figure steps back, returning slowly to the shadow at the edge of the clearing. One more thing, the voice says, almost like a whisper. Tonight, you don't have to choose. Tonight, you can let your dreams walk for you. You blink slowly, and when you look again, the figure is gone. But the clearing remains, and the moon remains, and the sound of water remains, and you remain. You place the stone in your pocket, or you hold it against your palm, and you let yourself lean back, lowering gently onto the moss. The forest floor supports you completely. Above you, the branches sway slightly, and the sky between them is deep and endless. Your eyelids grow heavy. You can feel sleep approaching, not as something you must do, but as something you are allowed. And in the space between waking and dreaming, a phrase begins to repeat inside you, softly, like a lullaby. The forest itself is singing. You are guided. You are held. You are on the path. You are guided. You are held. You are on the path. And maybe somewhere deeper, your dreams begin to gather around that truth, like lanterns appearing one by one in the dark. The path will still be here when you wake. But for now, you can rest. You can soften. You can let the forest carry you into the next part of your journey, into the quiet language of dreams. You are guided. You are held. You are on the path. And the night, tender and spacious, folds around you as you drift deeper and deeper into sleep.